I met Brad through a mutual friend, and I was going through actually a really hard time in my life. My marriage was not doing so great, and my job was okay, but I wasn't excelling in life, and really every day was really tough. I was always very, very hard on myself and very negative. Really, the biggest impact in my life through meeting Brad was very, very quick. And one of the things he said was essentially 95% of what you think about, the thoughts going through your head, are on autopilot. You don't actually think about what you're thinking about. And that alone was an incredible unlock. I'm an engineer, so for me, it was very like, oh wow, that really makes sense. So the first step was actually noticing what are the things that are going through my head? What are these 1,000 negative thoughts that are going through my head every single day that I wasn't even conscious of? And that was step one. But then the huge unlock, the biggest thing, was then realizing where those thoughts came from originally. So it's one thing to realize like, oh wow, I'm thinking these things, but then to suddenly realize why you're thinking those things. And for me, it all came back from a childhood, a very rough childhood. But regardless of how your childhood was, I think a lot of your original thoughts come from those times. And working with Brad, it wasn't over years. It was actually just 4 very quick sessions where it was, even actually after the second one, it was like, oh my God, I realized what's going on here, and I realized where those thoughts and all those negative things that were repeating in my head 1,000 times a day were coming from. And it was a game changer. It was overnight. It really was overnight. Like, this sounds made up, but it was really, my whole life flipped around 360 degrees. I went from a marriage that, if the things that I was going through at the time, if I hadn't, and this is gonna get a little deep, it's devastating. It really is. I've got 3 young kids, and I'm likely gonna be going through a divorce. And I think if I hadn't met Brad, I would be at the bottom of a hole right now. I would have 100%, it would have 100% been my fault, and it would have been completely devastating to me, because to me, you get married and it's for life, and if it didn't work out, it was 100% my fault. And I would have likely killed myself. And what's amazing about this whole experience has been, I found happiness. It is, even through this incredibly hard time in my life, and I'm going through it right now, I wake up every morning happy, all damn happy. And even though my wife and I have disagreements and it's a really tough time, I'm still happy. And I hope this testimony alone is enough to, if you're thinking about joining the program and working with Brad, that you can listen to this. And life isn't going to be all perfect and grand, and you're going to continue going through tough times. But the nice thing is that even through those really, really hard times, you can be happy, which is never fathom in a million years I'd be able to say that. So as a result, even though I'm going through this tough time, my businesses have completely changed. I went from really stagnated to, and very unhappy with the progress I was making. And a lot of it was self-sabotage. A lot of it was me not being happy, but 2, really having a lot of the self-doubt and other things in my head, to really believing in myself and knowing that I am enough. And that, honestly, it only took a couple weeks, which is crazy. And all of a sudden I was able to turn my businesses around completely. I'm at an event here with Brad, and I just introduced him to one of my new CEOs who's way smarter than me, and I was able to place him, but he obviously only came in because he saw the confidence that I had and knew that I had a really great thing going here. So anyways, it's been an amazing journey. It still is a journey. It's not like, hey, come in 2 weeks and your life is forever changed. But once you start realizing and knowing how to think and why the thoughts that do creep up, and be able to hit them right then, be like, oh, I know where that thought came from. It's truly amazing. And another huge thing was, I remember I was on a call with Brad, and he said, I was still feeling a lot of guilt. The marriage, one of the reasons the marriage didn't work out was not just because of my wife. I didn't treat her well, but it was almost like one of the things Brad said was, well, how could you treat her well when you didn't treat yourself well? When you're not happy with who you are, like, of course. And that, I had so much guilt and so much like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for all these million things that I did, and how I treated my wife and all this stuff. And all of a sudden I was free. And that freedom is so impactful when you're not carrying this huge burden on you and walking around all the time with all this guilt. And all of a sudden you can wake up happy, you can be happy, and when you make a mistake, you can turn around on a dime and be happy again. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey. I'm still going through it, but yeah, highly recommend working with Brad and his team. So in the past, when I looked at my future, I was always confident that eventually I could find that success, and I could find that business success and other things that I was trying to achieve. And what really changed within weeks was, it wasn't some future far off thing where I was thinking, okay, 10 years from now I'm gonna have all these things and my business is gonna be at a certain place. Literally within a few weeks, I hired a new CEO for my business. I started 4 other businesses. I bought 2 more businesses, and essentially it was because I believed in myself now. It's not some future Josh that is going to be able to create all this success. I knew that I could do it now. And it's been 2 months or so, and I wish I had done this 10 years ago. Like, it really, the success is now. And so, it's not even like a future, it's happening right now, and it's pretty exciting. So knowing what I know now, I remember specifically thinking about the price of the program before I joined, and it's like, wow, this is a bit of money, but I believe in myself and I know I want to change. I'd be willing to put up, this little amount of money for that. Now that I look back and the complete life transformation that I've had, and the happiness that I have every single day, my business's success, how much would I pay for this program? The easy answer is, oh man, I would pay $1 million. But realistically, if I was to look at the financial impact that this had in my businesses already, it's easy $400,000 or $500,000 just within the last 2 months. And the future of it is obviously in the millions. And I would not have achieved that if I hadn't paid the very little amount for the program and moved forward. So yeah, easily I would have sold my house, I would have sold my cars to pay for this. Because if you think about who you are and the impact that you can make in this world and the things that are holding you back, like, you can easily get 10 more cars, you can easily get a dozen new houses with the wealth and everything else that you're able to create when you are the person that you're supposed to be. So it sounds very cliche, but it's extremely real.